Welcome back to Quantum Conversations. My name is Sarah, and today my co-host Carrie Bennett and I are going to be making these complex topics of quantum biology and circadian biology understandable to the everyday person. Thank you so much for tuning in. We ask that if you are listening on audio only, that you take a moment to leave us up to a 5-star review. And if you're on YouTube, leave us a like, leave us a comment. It will help to get the show out to more people. And before we jump into today's topic, just a quick reminder to head down to the show notes and check out my free resources as well as Carrie's free resources. We also do have courses on a variety of topics. If you are hoping to dive deeper, Carrie and I both have practitioner courses available as well for anyone who wants to begin to bring these topics to their clients and help them to implement these strategies into their daily lives. So check those out. We also have a co-taught course called Quantum Fertility that is available that allows people and practitioners to work on their fertility using these principles of quantum biology and circadian biology. Again, thank you so much for listening or watching today's show, whichever one you are doing. And let's go ahead and jump into it now. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Quantum Conversations and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Wow. 2025. Yeah. So what are we going to talk about today?
You know, we get so many questions about light bulbs and lighting and blue blockers. And does this work? And is that any good? And so we thought it would be fun to bring out our spectrometers. Yeah. Carrie has hers. I think hers measures a few more things than mine does, but mine will give you like color, frequency, all that stuff. And just
let's say which ones we have first.
Yeah.
We know. Yeah. Mine is the HOPO color, HOPOO color, HOPO color, 350 BF. So it measures the visible spectrum. You can also get ones that go into the infrared spectrum and into the ultraviolet spectrum as well.
Yeah. Mine is the Seconic C800, and I bought mine off of eBay because brand new, it's like $2,000. So it was a little present I bought myself this year for Black Friday. And I think I paid like $1,000 for it. So
mine was $1,500. And this is why we don't recommend, like, unless there's people who love it, but like, if you want that, you don't, I mean, we're hopefully through this episode going to show you why we recommend certain things through that really mitigate the aggressive blue light that's in screens and devices these days. So you don't have to purchase one of these yourself. But if you're interested, I got a couple people who have gone through my practitioner mentorship program who have one of these, because when you go into other people's houses or you
show them,
give recommendations, it's like, this is why you're not tired before bed, because this is the lighting that you have going on. And so you can start to really show people mitigation strategies and feeling differently maybe when you have orange tone lights as opposed to when you got these really bright white LEDs.
Yeah. And today I'll measure it today on the show. We're going to measure some things. So if you're listening on audio only, you might want to head to Spotify because there's video there, or to YouTube to actually see the video of measurements. We'll talk through it as well, but if you're an audio only listener, just a little precursor to that. But I don't have my big light on today. I don't have my nice camera. Y'all, I'm tired from the holidays.
And who wants that? I mean, you look great with this lighting. You don't need that other lighting. So
yeah, I'm just not doing fancy today.
No fancy.
We're laid back for the new year.
We're chill today. Yeah, I did brush my teeth though, Sarah, before I
brushed my hair.
There we go. One or the other. It's all good. So here's the cool thing about this. So I want to show, what I might do is show maybe I think we can start by both doing a screen, an unmitigated screen, basically an unmitigated phone screen, the phone screen that you get when it's just given to you straight from the cell phone company, and why that looks why we consider it to be a very toxic lighting to be around. And so what we're doing is this is an LED screen. So remember, any other LEDs, light bulbs, computer monitors, things like that. Although I want to show my computer monitor, which is 15, maybe 20 years old now.
I'll measure mine too, because I've got Iris on.
Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah, that'll be fun to play around with.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's measure our phone screens and kind of show.
Yeah. So I'll just do a little, this is my phone screen, what it looks like. Nice little picture of my daughter. And
All
then,
right, so I got mine, if I can show here.
so yours has some red. Is that with the red phone screen?
No, it's not with the red. Oh, do you want to know what it is? It probably is because my microphone here.
Ah, you have a red mic. Okay, because this is mine. Do lots of blue. Oh, that's a really hard glare because there's a window right in front of me. Sorry, y'all. There we go. There we go.
Perfect.
See all the blue?
So what we see here with both of these, right, is a big spike of blue.
Big blue.
Right?
Big blue. It's
blue.
I would say it's dominant in blue, right? That's the biggest issue, is that it's blue dominant. If we were outside taking a reading outside, which I'm not going to just like go do that right now, but it would be more balanced, right? It's more
blue would still be dominant.
Blue would be dominant, but not to this level.
And not to this just random peaks, right?
Yeah,
when you go outside, whether it's before sunrise or anytime throughout the day, there's always this huge blend of colors.
Correct.
And so, and like, let's be real, right? While we can say that 450 nanometers, which is blue light, right? That 450 nanometers can be really detrimental to us when we're looking at it from screens. Who knows? At some point in time, they might also say this 530 spike right there, the greenish yellowish one is also we just don't know enough about isolating the frequencies like this,
right?
Except with the red light therapy research. I think the red light therapy research is the one area where they've done thousands of studies now on specific wavelengths of red and near infrared light to show that when you apply those to the body, you get these benefits. Exactly. We have no idea what this does over time.
Right. Right. Precisely. Yeah.
And so then with something like this is basically what you're staring at. And I think this also, let's mention flicker right now. I know we're going to talk about that.
Because yours measured flickers. Mine might, and I just haven't played with it enough to figure that out within this thing.
I know. I get that. Mine does measure flicker, and it's probably not going to show up very well. But maybe you could see the words high risk. Can you see the words high risk there at all?
Flicker frequency. Yeah. Yes. I do.
And you should see like spikes up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, right? What that is showing you from this measurement is that my phone screen is turning off and on. So it's turning about 90% off and then on all the way. Approximately 100 and 120 times per second, right? And LEDs do this to conserve energy. And so this is an issue for my nervous system here, right? The flicker is an issue for my nervous system because I can't physically perceive this. Like my senses can't perceive it. The flicker is too fast, but the flicker going on, off, it has a strobe lighting effect for my nervous system. And so that's why staring at a phone screen for an extended period of time can create nervous system dysregulation. And I think this is very obvious in children who have had LED screens for too long. I've had parents talk about how their pupils almost get like a dopamine dilation, right? Yeah. And so
that's what Dr. Valerie was saying when she was on my show, is that blue light dilates your pupils, being inside dilates your pupils, sunglasses dilate your pupils, and it makes your eyes more susceptible to damage. It's essentially really bad for you to have your pupils dilated unnecessarily.
Absolutely.
It's going to make you more sensitive to sunlight. So everyone that's like, I have to wear sunglasses because my eyes are so sensitive to the sun. I'm like, well, you're likely blue light toxic.
Because you haven't gone outside and gotten the need to constrict, right? Exactly. That actually is very important that's a muscle, right? Exactly. The constricting of the pupil, that's a muscle thing. And so you have to be able to train that in the same way you train other muscles in your body. So this is a high risk category. Now that would be different. If I were to do this in front of an incandescent bulb, yes, there's flicker in an incandescent bulb, but an incandescent bulb doesn't turn on, off. It goes 10% off all the way back on, 10% off all the way back on. So that amplitude of off and on matters. If I were to put this up there to an incandescent bulb, which I've done many times, sure, it would say that there's flicker, but it would say low risk to oftentimes, sometimes no risk as well, because it's not the same strobe lighting effect that we get from the LED bulbs.
Right.
Okay. So did you do your phone screen?
Yeah, I just did it on red.
Okay.
And I think it's picking up some of the blue from the room also. But there's also, you can see a pretty good red in there as well.
Sure.
So it does help to offset some of that blue.
Let me see mine really quickly here. Yeah. It absolutely does. Yeah. And when I've done these measurements in like a controlled lighting environment, you should see that completely.
It goes completely away. Because I've done it in the dark in my bedroom before.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's just completely red. There's no blue at all with that phone screen. But while you were talking, I'm like trying to do it under my sweater. I'm like trying to do all this stuff. There you go.
That's mine. And this is with the Twilight app. So I have an Android phone. You have an iPhone. Yep. And so with the Twilight app, the Twilight app is at full intensity here. So you see how red this is, right?
That's very, very red.
Very red, right? But the screen dimming, I find that the screen dimming, you can dim it as much as you feel comfortable, because when I do the flicker, you'll hear these things, right? You hear people in this space kind of parrot things. And so you'll hear, never dim your screen because it's going to make the flicker way worse. The flicker's bad no matter what.
Right.
Like it's high risk no matter what. And so I actually find that I don't want the screen aggressively bright. To me, maybe it's a nervous system subjective thing, but to me,
because the lux is still really bright. So I played around with the My Circadian app because I've got it on my husband's phone. And even with the phone screen red, the lux is still like a 26. It was still like significantly bright. And so to get it below
too
10,
bright for nighttime. Right?
Yeah, it's going to disrupt your circadian rhythm, because I get that question all the time. Can I just turn my phone screen on red at night and just look at that? Do I still need the blue blockers? And I was like, well, let me measure. Even with my phone down, like as dim as I could get it, it was still like a 15, 16. So to get it below a 10 with the My Circadian app, I had to put a pair of blue blockers over the camera lens, and then it went down to like a 7 with the phone screen on red.
So here's the thing with Twilight. And so this is where it's interesting. So Android, with Twilight, it gives you screen dim is that bottom line. It's not dimmed all the way. The top one is all the way intense for red. So I'm at a screen dimming of about 60% here. And my lux is measuring at 1.18.
Oh, see, that's good though.
Yeah. And
that's
so
really
that's
good.
right. So that might be, okay. If
something
you
to play with.
Right.
And you can just use the My Circadian app.
100%.
And that's not $1,000, $2,000 to
right.
To see if it actually is legit.
Great point. So if you have Twilight, right, if you have an Android and Twilight, then you get to decide at what screen dimming is the lux below 2, so that you can then maybe not utilize blue blockers if for some reason you need to look at your screen. Right. Yeah. But for me, I don't know. I
have like a Pavlovian response to blue blockers. I need them. And once sunset is, even if my house is like very dialed in with the lighting, I've measured. I've gone around my whole house with all the light bulbs. I have a UV bug zapper, so it's below the spectrum of blue. I measured that to make sure there was no blue. It was below that spectrum. And so, I've got my home dialed in, but I still, like, as soon as sunset hits, I'm just like,
it feels good. It's soothing.
I feel even like calmer now just putting these on, but these are orange, so I don't like to wear orange during the day. It'll make me too soothed.
Let's actually do blue blockers now, right? Okay. So you got your Viva Rays right there.
Yeah.
I've got a couple here. So I have a bag down here because I was, thinking about recording a video, but I'll just do it here instead. Let's just have a phone. So the way that, okay. So then people oftentimes ask, like, why do you recommend certain blue blockers?
Right.
Or, things like that. And it's like, well, because I test my blue blockers using this, and here's how this is tested. I put a phone screen on just, full brightness. Right. And then what you do with your blue blockers, so these are Kelly Bento's, one of her versions, not her darkest reds, but one of her versions of reds. This part of the spectrometer is what senses the light. So essentially what we do
right here.
Exactly. You cover that up.
The sensor.
Right. So let's do a little measurement there by covering that up and seeing. Because so we saw what this phone screen looked like before, right? Where it was like aggressive. So now let's see here if we can, this requires a little bit of coordination.
Ingenuity.
Yeah, right. To be able to hold it correctly and get the correct measurements. So let's see what we got here. I have there's a little bit of background stuff, but you could see this is the phone screen on full
blue.
Full blue. And now
use my ugly light and use the blue blockers. Yeah. So you see it's working. And those
it mitigates it completely. That is all blue and green light, So, I mean, that's amazing, right? Yeah. And you want to know what I just tested? So my daughter, let me see yours. What do you have
This is my big light that I just turned on. Can you see all that blue? Isn't that horrible?
That's what your average LED looks like, right? I hate it too. I hate it too.
It messes with my nervous system so bad when I'm sitting down here and trying to have good lighting. Can you see it?
No, I can totally see it. And I don't know if anyone sees
a huge spike of blue, huge
spike of blue. Yeah. And the only time, remember, in nature, when blue is dominant, it's the middle of the day.
Right.
And so that's why
it's never a big spike like that.
And it's never like that.
It's always yes, there's more blue, but the other colors are more
balanced.
Yeah.
There's tons of infrared, right? So the red and the infrared, which make a huge difference.
I'm seeing if I can
do this one really quickly.
Because this sensor is so big, it picks up everything in the room.
Right.
But okay. So Viva Rays, here we go.
Nice. Yeah. And so here's the other thing too, right? About this. So
there's no blue with the Viva Rays orange.
And reputable blue blocking companies will put their spectrum analysis. They'll have done this,
online,
right? Which is why we love a company like Viva Rays, which is why we love a company like Bold Charge, which is why Raw Optics, all the companies that we recommend, I've either tested with my own spectrometer. Well, even the ones that even the ones that post their own spectral readouts, I've just confirmed as well. Yeah. But a good blue blocking company will absolutely.
Yeah. Matt from Raw Optics has done several videos on his page. So the ones I know, I've tested all my Viva Rays, all my Raw Optics. I've tested the Spectra 479s because I get a ton of questions for something less expensive. They're not as comfortable. They're not as stylish, but they work. They work.
They do work. And so my daughter had a birthday party in August and we got a whole rainbow color of these. And she had these ones that were I made goodie bags and she obviously kept a goodie bag for herself. And I'm because out of all my kids who hate blue blockers, this is what they are.
That's not bad.
Not bad.
That's not bad at all.
There's no blue, a little in that green spot.
There's a little green, but honestly, that's going to help a lot.
And we're not up late at night to be it's 10 o'clock at night and we're watching a movie or something like that. So, and then the lux went down to 5. So that would be the big red flag there, right? It doesn't lower it enough per se, so there might be a little bit of challenge there, but
well, with the research with lux is that the 3 hours before bed, you want 10 and below.
Okay. So
it's your sleeping environment that needs to be a 1 and below.
Gotcha.
So you're fine if you're in because my bathroom, I've measured it. I'll turn my red light panel on infrared only, and then I'll kind of turn it away from me. And then I'll lay in the bathtub with the My Circadian app and it measures at a 6 every single time. So I'm
perfect.
Cool. I can just lay in here and chill.
And that makes sense that that requirement would be 10 or less because of Campfire. Right? You would, there would
I've
always
measured
have
my fire before.
Yeah,
and it's a 1.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. No, very, very cool.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I got my Midwest red light therapies. I've got, so the ones that if ever you want the darkest pair on the market, right? These are Kelly ship me.
I have those. Those are, I can't.
They're insanely dark, but I've got some people with more dysregulated nervous systems that they're working through. And it feels so soothing because you get not only all of the, any intense, none of the blue, like that'll block all the blue, it'll block all of the green. And it dims things very, very drastically. So for some people, they love this.
Yeah.
Other people, it's too red.
I can't. I'll like hurt myself in my home.
Well,
this is an incandescent bulb, by the way.
Oh, perfect. That's really good to see. Yeah. And so that's sunset too. So that's why incandescent bulbs are pretty safe bets, especially if they're a lower lux, right?
Yeah. I don't know what the lux is on this one, but I can measure that. Why not?
Oh,
yeah. And by the way, my screen is cracked, you guys. That's what happens when you buy things on eBay and they won't take it back. But I can still measure stuff. So
yeah, it still works.
Anyone watching the video,
and you saved $1,000. So hallelujah.
Exactly. I'll take it. It's fine. It gets the job done. It really does. Yeah, I'm curious with my lux, like what this incandescent bulb is. Well, it says it's 192 lux.
Well, hopefully I would be curious to see what it's like if it's actually held at your
eye level.
But but that might be, obviously there's a lot
in it's 31 now that it's like
a little bit better.
Yeah. No, it's next to eye level. Cause that's the thing. And I have a video inside my Circadian app. Cause everyone's like, oh, I get like different measurements with the app when I move it. I'm like, yes, because
you're going to,
light is not the same from this distance as it is from that. It's always
Well, and that's why we also talk about the inverse square law of electromagnetic fields, right?
Correct.
The further you are from the source, the less impactful it is. And lux is a perfect way to kind of visualize that. It's like hopefully your face isn't like this to a phone screen, right?
No. Right. Always measure eye level. That's going to really give you the most accurate of like what you actually need to be concerned
aware
of. Yeah. Because I'm not going to like do this to my...
Please don't, people. Please don't. I want to show my computer monitor, as I've alluded to, is probably, I mean, gosh, this thing I got it in 2000 and it's 14 years old. And so this was before this is my monitor with just night shift. I made it orange, right?
Okay.
And then with, basically a 14-year-old monitor. And it really doesn't have very much aggressive blue, right?
That's not bad at all.
For me, this feels like this is a healthy light. Now I wouldn't be on this at night without wearing like my orange tone blue blockers, or early in the morning without my orange tone blue blockers.
This is mine has a little bit of green, but this is iris on my computer.
Yeah, that's nice. That's very nice.
Nice orange, red. Yeah, it's it's a little bit of green, but it's mostly in the 650, 680 nanometers. That's iris. And I have it on custom because everyone's like, what are your iris settings? I played with it and it's at like 1700 Kelvin. And I mess with it. And honestly, I do have to turn it off sometimes when I'm creating something in Canva, because I'm like, I probably want to see what color this is.
I'll do that on my Twilight app when I do my my stuff.
I have to when I'm posting on Instagram or creating something in Canva. I have to use the full blue because I don't know what this actually looks like. So with Iris, you can just scroll down and it says mode, and then you would hit paused. So mine's on manual mode. You can pick like biohacker, which I can't. The biohacker is like that's what Sarah. Oh my Lord!
Well, let's hold that. I want to talk about that in a second. So let's go ahead and...
I'm going to measure this because this is insane looking. I wish I could do a screenshot of this because it's just like wild.
And I don't have we talked about this? I feel like you and I have chatted about this. I don't know if we've actually talked about this on the podcast, but...
We want to talk a little bit about why we both use more red light therapy in the winter really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Come summer, it is so easy for me to pop outside for 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. take the clothes off and just soak up the natural light, right? And I know you do, I know you do the same. And it's beautiful because we're getting all of those red and near infrared wavelengths from the sun and imparting all those healing benefits from sunlight. But come, November, December in Michigan, there's very little opportunity for me to do that. It's just too cold, and so I'll go outside and get my light signaling through my eyes, but my skin really, that infrared and red that I want to absorb through my skin is just lacking. And so that's why I would highly recommend, if you live in an environment like that, you consider using a red light therapy panel in the winter. It can be the biggest game changer.
Yeah. And we both love the Boncharge Mini. This is super convenient. You can take it with you traveling. You guys don't know, when I'm recording the podcast, half the time I have it on my low back or somewhere in my body to mitigate some of this blue light. And for the months of November and December, you can use the code QuantumPod25 for November and December only to get 25% off the panel or anything on the Boncharge website. Carrie and I are both big fans.
Yeah. And one more thing really quickly with that. It's a great gift too, right? If you want to start getting people involved in this lifestyle and say it's the most convenient way, if there's a mom that who needs to tend to boo-boos and aches and pains for kids, or earaches, tummy aches, sore throats, it's a phenomenal gift to give as well, because it really can wipe away pain very fast.
I love it. All right, check it out. Link is in the show notes.
A lovely colleague of ours, who I'm not going to name his name, but he did a post about how our blue blockers harmful. Basically, was kind of the gist of it, because we've never been around monochromatic light before, and so, but it's a great point. I think it's why sometimes, like you said, maybe having biohacker mode, where it's just this solid single red, not even single, but like a red peak, if you will.
It's way too much. Yeah.
Or just red LEDs. Like for me, just red LEDs would make me angry. Like for some people, that's a nervous system dysregulator.
Because I'll have people be like, I can't tolerate the red bulbs. I hate them. I'm like,
it's okay. And that's why, I would say incandescent bulbs for me are more, but what I do want to be aware of so I think what wasn't fully, laid out in the post that this colleague did was the fact that when you have, let's say, LED lighting, or in my house, maybe even brighter incandescent bulbs, but you're wearing blue blockers, it's not monochromatic. So you saw, I held up my whatchamacallit right here, right? So like, this is you see that red?
Your microphone.
That's my microphone, right? And that's what it looks like this, right? It's a bright peak that's fairly monochromatic. So yes, being around just that lighting that's not natural. So for me, that's probably what my brain is perceiving. It's like, that does not seem like a healthy lighting environment to be around. But, when you're using blue blockers with something that has a blend of colors to them, so not just one color, it wouldn't be monochromatic. It would be more along the lines of a blend closer to firelight. And so what you see happening then is you're going to see a much more wider peak. Much more wider, does that even, how you say it? A much wider peak here. So hang on a second. And so so then when I'm using my Viva Rays oranges and then an LED screen, which most people have LED screens, so the peak extends from about 530 to about 700, right? So this is not monochromatic, right? The other peak was much narrower. And if you were to do it, if I were to do it on, let's say, let me do this really quickly. If I were to do it here on, let's say, a red light therapy style device, which you want these to be monochromatic, right? These are designed to have a monochromatic effect, so this is what you're going to get when you see that that's a very narrow peak right there. So monochromatic light can be beneficial in my opinion, in the red range when it's used as red light therapy. I wouldn't want to be under it all day long. What I think was a little bit misleading in that post, or maybe he just posed some questions, which I think he did a very nice job of, is that when you're wearing blue blockers, but you have a light, let's say an incandescent bulb, or you've got an LED screen that's got a blend of colors, you're bringing them back into a closer range of campfire, basically, when it's not just isolating it into one single peak. And so that's why I don't find blue blockers to be very dysregulating to people. Now, occasionally I've come across people who have to adjust
to them,
which is perfectly fine.
Yeah, there's get a headache or they just feel nauseous. I've had that happen.
I've had that experience with people too. But I don't think that that's necessarily because the blue blockers are creating harm. No, I think it's because blue light toxicity is what their eyes are used to.
100%.
And so I don't think that having people bring their color or their color perception closer to the range of a campfire peak, obviously without the infrared, unfortunately, if you're using LEDs, is going to be unhealthy. Yes, we need long-term studies, but no one's going to be studying it because purchasing a pair of blue blockers can be $20, right? And no company is going to invest, thousands and thousands of dollars into a study. On that. So
no. And I think we should also talk. Well, I have one question, and then we can talk about lighting indoors. Because I'm sitting here in my office with no lights on, just my computer, window completely closed, and this is what I've got. I've still got a good amount of blue. And
I do too.
There's still red. There's still, it's still like full spectrum. But if I was to go outside, this red and yellow would probably come up a bit,
Is it cloudy where you are right now?
No, it's very sunny. But
interesting.
The way that my house is sitting, this window, the sun is it's shining on my neighbor's house, but it's not necessarily shining into the window, if that makes sense.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
This is what I have here.
No, that's not bad.
It's not bad, but people are like, why are you, I've done enough of my own experimentation with and without blue blockers on. These yellows for me do something to my nervous system, something to my body where it makes it feel like I'm in a much healthier environment than when I don't wear them. Now, if I come down here and just do a little something, but when I'm on here for a couple hours like this, it feels so much better for me.
I typically have this guy on.
Exactly.
Exactly. I don't want to show my office because it's kind of messy, but this
something that mitigates. Yeah.
It's a big ass panel.
So can you keep that on and then do your spectrometer? Let's see what.
Yeah. Let me see what it is. I'll just kind of point it. I want to just point it at it from where I'm sitting just to see what it gets. All right. Yeah. See, so I still, I'm gonna have to turn this off. The glare from the window. So you see there's still some blue because of obviously it's still getting the window, but it's going to bring in a lot of red, which to me feels soothing. So a lot of videos I've been posting lately, I know my friend that helped me set up this whole video studio and I tried to pay him and he wouldn't let me. He's a former yoga student of mine when I used to teach. He came down here, helped me set up the nice camera, the lights, everything I'm not using today because my nervous system is like, can we just please just not?
No, thanks.
I have been lately turning on the big light, turning on my nice camera, and then just turning my panel on some of my videos. I'm waiting for him to text me and be like, Sarah,
you're ruining everything.
You're ruining it with that panel. You look really weird in those videos with just red shining on the bottom part of your face. What are you trying to do? I'm like, preserve my nervous system.
Well,
and still make content, still show up. I'm doing my best.
Obviously your podcast is huge. So especially compared to this one. So it's for me, I'm just whatever. I'm just going to, people resonate with the fact that in this podcast, we're not that. Somebody
serious. A year ago on our podcast was like, well, Sarah must not believe in blue blockers because she never wears them on camera. And I was like,
oh yeah.
Well, God bless you. I do very much believe in them, but I can take breaks from them. I can mitigate and shining blue on my face for an hour. I'll go outside before and after. I've done my morning routine. I'm not somebody who thinks that a little bit of blue from being in an office or being in a doctor's office, is going to kill you once a week, because I don't film every day. I'm not down here every day.
And this is N=1, right? That's why we can't give our exact recommendations that will work for you.
Right. You have to play with it. Because somebody might be in my house and, my husband still doesn't like it. He still complains about the lighting. I can't see anything. Like,
your eyes get used to it over time. Yeah. Because it's dark outside. Yeah. Go to
it's
sleep.
time for bed.
You don't need
I don't care if it's 6 o'clock. Go to bed. Stop talking.
But yeah, so n equals 1, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
so you have to play with it. You know, I don't think you necessarily need to go out and buy a spectrometer. You can play with the My Circadian app. You can see how you feel. I think getting a good pair of blue blockers, and if you can get incandescents, those are awesome. You don't even necessarily need to go buy expensive blue blocking bulbs. You know,
no, they can be great. I've got people who love companies like Boncharge, Black Blue Light. I mean, I got some companies who or some clients who love them. And so that's the thing too. It's like,
there's a lot of stuff out there now.
Exactly.
But I haven't, and I will get messages daily.
Have you tested XYZ?
What do you think of that? Well, they don't even ask if I've tested. They just, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? I don't know. This is a thing I can put over my kid's phone. What do you think of it? I don't know. If it's clear.
There's one company that's.
If it's clear, don't waste your money. Just you. I always tell people, I'm like, you don't need to buy anything to go over your kid's phone. Just turn the screen red.
Well, they don't want to. I mean, that's a hard no for a lot of kids, and that's unfortunate. Yeah. But like, that's where there are non-negotiable, or there's degrees that you slowly start to
bring them to it.
That's so. That's what my mom was doing to my dad's computer. Like, she'll just change it like a couple of notches, right? Like. Every week, it's taken a long time every week, but now we're at like a huge amount of mitigation, and he doesn't know, right? Like, but it's good for him. So yeah, there's ways that you can do where it's just slowly, and your eyes will. And then when you actually, I've had my kids get to the point where it's like they're used to it. So when they experience a screen that doesn't have it, it's like,
yeah, totally, 100%. Yeah, you can definitely tell.
So
yeah. One question I had, because I don't know the answer to this. What do you think of the green blue blockers? Have you heard of those? People are talking about now.
Wearing green lenses?
Yeah, wearing green lenses.
The only thing that I've looked into with green light or green is as like a photobiomodulation device, as like a green light therapy, if you will.
Because it's a light therapy. But
pain modification. That's all I looked into.
Company is let me see if I can find it on Google, because this particular company is actually saying that it's a substitute for blue blocking glasses. And I'm like, probably not, but I haven't tested it. I don't really know what you're talking about. Let me see if I can find it. But I was just, if you haven't heard of it, then
let's see. Well, it says ROK, Roca. Times Huberman, wind down with your lenses.
This is from Tech Wellness. Tech Wellness has green sleep blue blockers.
Oh, interesting. Well, August is usually.
That's because I'm an affiliate for Tech Wellness. I love August.
Yeah.
But I'll send. Yeah, if you put in your search bar, Tech Wellness green blue blockers blocks 100% of harmful screen light. But I
will have to get some and
test them out. Because it says wear them at night to block the 460 nanometer peak. They also block 98% of all blue light wavelengths in the entire collection of wavelengths that could affect circadian rhythms.
I don't know why you would need green though. Like,
I don't either.
You know, there's other one. There's what I know is that, and this is just kind of me subjectively considering like what I would feel like looking through green lenses. So nothing but my opinion on this is green feels a very unnatural tone to have my eyes looking through at nighttime. I don't know. Like for me, we've all been camping, right? Or like have been in
the chill campfire vibe, the red. Right. I feel like people, when you put on
orange
light panel, you automatically just kind of go more into parasympathetic. You just,
to me, that green feels, that just for me feels like I don't, again, this is nothing but my opinion on how I think I would feel. So I want to test, I want to get them. I want to test them out. I just kind of want to see what's going on there. But I love orange amber tone. Like that for me just feels so good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Green
me
just might
too.
be a little. Green is
Me too.
just green's daytime, right? Green
It
is
is
middle of the
green and blue or
afternoon and blue.
daytime.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, you get them, test them out. Let me know what you think.
yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
We'll just see. And
Yeah.
my other thing is like, are they like, is this a needed product?
Yeah,
Right?
because we have so many other yeah, there's stuff you can just get on Amazon, the Spectra 479, super cheap. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe these kind of look like Terminator glasses, you know,
They do.
I don't know. Maybe people would like the look of them differently.
Yeah.
And so maybe they'd be more willing to wear them. I don't know. So anyways, but yeah, I trust that August has done some really great research as to why.
I'm sure she has. I trust her. She's a smart lady, and
exactly.
I like what she's doing. So the other question I get with blue blockers, I don't know, because we're kind of wrapping here, is do I, obviously when you put on a pair of blue blockers, you've got up here, sides. And so people, I think, man, I feel just like tired when I put these on. No orange during the day. People are concerned that they need to have like the true dark glasses. I used to have those.
I used to have those too. Those are
the foam that goes all around your head. And then like, good luck walking, good luck doing anything.
They were insanely dark. Yeah. Insanely
sitting
dark.
there and just like, am I on acid or something? Like,
So what I'm hearing you ask is, do I have to be aware of the light that might occasionally get in from up above or around the sides?
Sides, correct.
And typically I say typically no. However, if you have a ton of overhead lighting on, then yeah, I would, this, my example I've always given is when I'm at one of my kids' events, I always have a hat on. Like I've got some dress hats that
some of those are just like,
right.
Insane.
And so, yeah, if you're in an environment like that, then maybe, but if you're in your typical, what I would consider a healthy wind down environment for us, we've got table lamps or very little on. There's one tiny dim bulb over the kitchen sink that really is not, aggressive. And I'm never standing under, it's not my goal at night is not to, stand in front of my sink.
We don't go around like this at night, guys.
Right,
like
exactly.
We just don't put our head in front of lamps.
And so the reason why I say maybe if you got aggressive overhead is because those melanopsin receptors, those blue light sensors,
down at the bottom,
they're at the bottom back of the eye, right? Because they're used to picking up the change in blue as the sun passes overhead. Correct. So it would make sense that lighting overhead has the potential to stimulate the melanopsin receptors more. But in general, it's not something, when I'm in my house, I never worry about that.
Me either.
Last night. Anyways, my husband flipped in bed. I was putting the kids to bed, right? Like in the bedroom, and then he flips on the light, just goes like this very briefly, and I go,
"Oh yeah."
I know I shouldn't react like that, but it was like,
no, I'm the same way.
I mean, we recovered our rhythm, no problem. And
it's fine. Like we've said this so many times on the podcast before, like a couple seconds, a minute, it's not going to wreck everything. If there's a kid that pukes in the night or has an accident in the night, like you got to clean that up. You can't just have your blue blockers on and you got to.
And very dim lighting. Yeah. It doesn't.
No, you have to, the big light. Sometimes you got to do it.
But unexpectedly like that, it's wild. It's such a spontaneous, just like,
you know what gets me angry, and my husband will be like, "This is your fault," is when my husband turns on the flashlight.
Yep.
Because he's like, I can't see anything in this house because you and all your crazy lights. And so he'll turn his flashlight on and then he'll like forget that it's on. And then he's like
flashes it
in bed on his phone and it like the whole room. I'm like,
That's why I use Kelly's, right? This is the torch. The perfect flashlight.
I have my Bon Charge little mini beside the bed.
Yep.
And I just flip, if I need something in the night, I just like, I find the button, flip it on and use that thing.
And in the middle of the night with that Bon Charge panel, all you need is the near infrared, frankly.
Yeah.
At first.
Just flip the little button. You can see whatever you need. Cause I had lost one of my earplugs last night in the middle of the night and I couldn't find it. And so like feeling around in my drawer, I'm like, okay, fine. I just like flip on the Bon Charge. There it is. Okay, cool.
Done. Perfect. Yeah. Anything else about spectrometers or lighting spectrums? I mean, I hope people realize this is kind of, if you're going to trust a company or a recommendation for bulbs or glasses or screen protection, they have to show you their spectral readout. They have to show you. These companies that are developing these things, absolutely, they do these measurements. I talked to Rudy. I talked to Kelly. They all love measuring stuff like this, right?
Yes, it's a must. It's a must for
if
these
you're making a product like this. And so a company that either isn't forthcoming about it or like, and some companies, maybe they just don't put it on. You can contact them and they'll tell you, yeah, I can show you the specs. That's fine. Right. But I mean, a company that's not going to show you the specs on it.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. And I haven't found I've never seen one clear.
I was going to say clear
glasses. Never.
Clear screen cover, clear blue blockers, clear. Don't waste your money. Do not waste your money on it at all.
Especially because you can do so much more mitigation with Iris Tech on the computer, or like even what I showed, the night shift, the Twilight app, the accessibility change that you get on the iPhone. Like that's going to be your way to go with that. Those other things for me have just not been, none of that has panned out.
And I wouldn't waste my money on, if I have prescription glasses, having them install the quote unquote blue blockers. I talked about this with Dr. Valerie on my podcast, because that's just going to screw you up. Honestly, you're going to go outside and block part of that blue that you actually need from outside because you need to see what's going on with your glasses on,
it's not worth it.
An extra layer that you don't need to pay for.
And don't pay for it. Those things only block a tiny percentage of percentage of blue
very
light.
Small. It's a marketing gimmick. It's a way to make you pay more money, and it's not effective. If you're going to do prescription, if you have to have prescription glasses, either buy the Spectra 479. They have clip-on. They have
Midwest Red Light Therapy clips. Yeah.
Do one of those, or companies like Viva Rays and Raw Optics. They will take your prescription and make lenses for you. I've had a lot of people do that as well.
Yep, totally.
And they will also accept your flexible spending account or healthcare spending account. I know it's the beginning of the year, so you might have some funds in those. So that's something to think about. If you're bought into this light thing, then it's something I would probably.
And again, having lived this, and I haven't been perfect, right? But having lived this quantum lifestyle now for over a decade, the one thing that I would never trade is not having a pair of orange tone blue blockers early in the morning or at night. For me, that has withstood the test of time. And so that encourages people.
That's like a non-negotiable for me. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I hope this has been helpful. I'm sure we'll have some questions, but we've got a whole year of episodes to record. So stay tuned.